Clock out. Clock out. How many of you remember, those of you who are retired and just remember when you had to clock out? Now, the rest of us who's still working, we still working to put some food on the table. We know what it means to clock out. Well, that's what we're talking about on this morning. Who amongst us on this morning is ready to clock out? Who amongst us on the Manna fam this morning is ready to clock out? How about that? Clock out. That's what we're going to talk about this morning. Good morning, everybody. It's time for Morning Manna. Got a word for you on this morning. You know what? It's what, the 17th of March, and it's like, what, 20 something degrees outside? I mean, come on. Can we get, let me look on my phone right now. Let me ask Alexa, what's the weather today?
It's a sunny 17 degrees right now.
17.
Today's high will be 34 with a low of 29. There's a 58% chance of snow tonight with about 0.04 inches expected.
54% chance of weather. Did y'all hear that weather? Oh my God. It's March. It's supposed to be spring Friday. But nevertheless, whatever. Here we are. Clock out. Clock out. How many of you, those of you who remember working, I know some of y'all retired, living that retired life, but the rest of us, we know something about clocking in and clocking out. That's what we're talking about this morning. Let's get with it on this morning. Good morning, Ramona. How are you on this morning? Good morning, my spiritual daughter. Erica, how are you on this morning? Good morning, Yolanda. How are you? Minister Yolanda is in the house. Gerald is in the house. Verena is in the house. Michael is in the house, back in the area. I think, I hope, I'm not sure. But how many of y'all remember the clock out? Brenda, do you remember when you had to clock out? Because some of us still clocking in. Liz, do you remember when you had to clock out? Ori, how are you? Linda, how are you? Vaughn, how are you? Diane, how are you on this morning? Joelle, Deborah, how are you on this morning? How many of you remember when you had to clock out? I'll tell you a story as soon as I greet some more people and talking about that whole clock out thing. Good morning, Anna. How are you on this morning? Elder Mobley, how are you on this morning? Ann is in the house. How are you? Ella is in the house. Carolyn is here as well. How many of you remember, Laura, about clocking out? About clocking out. Good morning, Coach Dagny. How are you? I know you and I, we still clocking in. You already know. Denise is in the house as well. How are you all on this morning? Elder Jan is here. Deborah Sims is here. Yeah, it is cold. Show cold. Can't believe that. So I put my turtleneck on. I thought, well, I could put my turtlenecks on. One of my favorite clothing items, turtlenecks. Um, Clock out. That's right, clock out. Pasha, how are you on this morning? Anna, how are you on this morning? Let me greet some more people. Healing W Netta Love. Okay, welcome. We're glad you're here. First, second, or third time joining us. Let us know who you are, where you are, so we can shout you out. Because we're talking about clocking out on this morning. Now, let me tell you about what clocking out has been for me with respect to that. And you know what? I'll tell you right after this.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Manna, where in 5 minutes or less, you're going to get an impartation with the text, the talk, and the takeaway. Join the Morning Manna fam every weekday morning at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. Don't forget to put in the chat the revelation that you get and share the manna. Now, let's get ready to have some manna so you can make it through your day.
Okay, here we go. Clocking out. Back to the same text because it's still working on me. Luke 5:5. Master, we've worked hard all night and we're ready to clock out. Come on, Jesus. But because you say so, I'll let down the net. So I'll clock back in. I'll clock back in. Come on, Jesus. I'll clock back in. Here is Jesus that gives Peter fishing instructions, a carpenter talking to a fisherman. that violates everything he knows. They will fish all night, not all day. And here is Peter saying, I'm ready to clock out. I'm ready to clock out. But because you say so, Jesus, I'll clock back in. Story, and I'll tell you the three things with respect to clocking out. When in high school, I worked at Winn-Dixie grocery store. Some of you may know it. I worked after school, and I remember some of the older ones. I was just doing a part-time thing, trying to get some pizza money and school clothes money. But the ones that was there for a living, they said, did you catch the clock? Catch the clock. What do you mean catch the clock? They said, if you clock out at 8 minutes past the hour, then you will get paid for 15 minutes. I mean, it's 7 minutes that you didn't work, but nevertheless, they was calling it catching the clock. Now, I'm a young guy, so, I was on that. And sooner or later, it looked like that became a thing because the manager, Mr. Sutton, still remember him, put out a rule, you can no longer catch the clock. Because I guess he noticed it, that his payroll was going up. Here is Jesus saying, look, Peter, you got to catch the clock. You got to put in the whole 15 minutes. Let's go back out. There's three things I want you to understand with respect to when you're clocking out and working for Jesus, because you say so, Jesus. Experience teaches us what worked yesterday. Exposure. Jesus exposes the limits of our experience. Clocking out. Expansion. Faith begins where logic runs out, so clock back in. So, what's your takeaway this morning with respect to that? Peter had a choice. Trust his experience or trust Jesus. Clock out, try to catch the clock, or clock back in and really go to work for him. Here's what I want you to do with respect to the text. Your experience explains yesterday. Your obedience will unlock tomorrow. Clock back in. Clock back in. The Lord be with you today. May his face shine upon you, give you peace. This bless you, bless somebody else. Don't keep it to yourself. I got more morning manna for you tomorrow morning. God bless you.